Alright, let's go ahead and do the rest of the infinitive scroll thing now, and then after this video we will worry about how we add and delete tweets this approach as well. So first and foremost, let's go ahead inside our timeline and make sure that we, instead of saying this tweet, we will get rid of this collection. For now, that will break the real-time functionality. For now, we will worry about that in the next episode. So we will set this chunks instead here, and what we're going to go ahead and do in here is we're going to head into our timeline mount, and we're going to still use the tweet model here, but instead we're going to get latest well parent ID, or we can even just leave it like this actually. But after this latest here, instead we will say plug ID, and in this case we're going to go over here and say chunk 10 and 2 array. And we can go ahead as well and add this into a new line. We can say public in chunk size and set this to this chunk size as well, so we have this set here. So essentially that's what we're doing here. We are, for loading more, we're just going to say if it is null, we have no more pages, and if not, we're going to increment the page. And then in here, we're just going to go into the timeline instead. So we're going to instead copy and paste this in to here, and let's just make sure we have another div in here. And instead we're going to go into our timeline and we're going to do a for statement here. So after this for statement timeline chunk, we're going to set up this button down here, which is just going to be for load more. Should be hidden, but it just says load more, and if you click on it, it will load more. We can always change this around if you want to. And I'm going to say load more here. You can add a spinner in as well, but yeah, it's good to have a button down here as a failure, if there's any failure. So outside of that, inside timeline chunk, we want to go ahead in here and go through the tweets, just like we do here. But inside timeline chunk component, we need to chunk through them. So in here, we will return in this view here, right, of tweets. We want to have tweet query wherein ID, and we're going to go ahead essentially and have a bit more of a complicated query here. And ID is a string. We're going to be using this part here. Now this is important to note that this is going to be using Postgres. If you're using MySQL, you have to do this a bit differently, but it works differently depending on the database provider you have, but shouldn't be too difficult to change this around. You can probably simplify this if you use MySQL. So just an important aspect to note for this video as well. So let's go into a timeline here, and let's set this by default to 10. And then let's go ahead and create a bunch of new trees in here. So I'm just going to go ahead into the database and create a bunch of new trees. You can see that we now have infinitive scroll here. So as we keep scrolling down, more and more trees get added into our feed. This should also work super fast, and again, we can just continue like this and it will continue allowing us to scroll more. You can see the little more button down here. We will start that up later on, And I think we'll make this look like actual Twitter aspect as well. So we'll work on that a bit later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.